Welcome to this Bridgewater Now update. I'm John Luck. Local first responders were called to Forest Street after a car had crashed into the woods. This happened Sunday night at 8:30, which is when, according to reports, off-duty Bridgewater police officer Christopher Rondeau saw the car traveling in the opposite direction. Rondeau was able to drag the victim, a 34-year-old man from Ware, away from the fire, which was expanding to brush and trees. Both officers, Rondeau and Theo Barbetto, rendered first aid to the driver, who was the only person in the car and was flown to a Boston hospital with serious injuries. A preliminary investigation indicated that the vehicle had been traveling at a high rate of speed before striking trees and catching fire. During the crash, the 34-year-old man, who again is from Ware, is believed to have been ejected from the vehicle upon impact. This crash does remain under investigation by the Bridgewater Police Department with assistance from the Rainham Police Department's Accident Reconstruction Team. Turning our attention now to the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects here locally, and the town and the state has seen an uptick in COVID numbers, with the town seeing back-to-back reports with increases for the first time since the month of January. Now, we are still far from where those numbers were, but the positivity percentage has increased by more than 1% since March 18th, with 120 positive tests in a 2-week range for the first time since the end of February. Rising numbers have put Rainham back in the high-risk category for spreading COVID, but Bridgewater does remain in yellow as of this recording. Bridgewater isn't the only community to see an increase in COVID numbers, as the number of high-risk Massachusetts communities has increased each of the last 3 weeks. Much like Bridgewater, the number is still far from where we were back in January, when there were close to 200 high-risk cities and towns here in the Bay State. The deadline to register for the April 24th town election has come and passed, but you do still have time to vote by absentee ballot. The deadline to apply for early vote or absentee ballot by mail is Tuesday, April 20th at 5 p.m. Friday the 23rd at noon is deadline to apply for in-person absentee voting. To request an application, call the town clerk's office at 508-697-0921. Looking at the list of candidates, starting with the uncontested races, Marilee Hunt is running to be re-elected as the town clerk. Eric Moore and Dr. Kevin Perry are running unopposed for seats on the town council in Districts 1 and 2 respectively. Peter Columbotus is running unopposed to fill a 2-year vacancy in his district, and Councillor Dennis Gallagher is on the ballot as his at-large seat is up for grabs in an uncontested race. On the school committee in both Bridgewater and Rainham, there are 3 candidates for 2 seats. Starting off in Rainham, Louis Anthony Gelfie, Rachel King, both running for re-election, are joined by Laura Conrad with 2 Rainham seats on the line. This affects voters here in town, as Bridgewater and Rainham will vote on both communities' school committee seats. In Bridgewater, Michael Dolan and Jason Hammond are running for re-election, and Tim Fitzgibbons is looking to win one of the 2 Bridgewater seats on the committee. And as many people know, there is a question that a lot of people have been talking about over the past couple of months regarding residents' opinion of recreational marijuana shops here in town. This is how the question will appear on the ballot. This non-binding question will not change any current zoning or general ordinances, but serves to inform the town council of current public opinion. Will the public support allowing retail sale of recreational marijuana in Bridgewater, with a simple yes/no answer? The explanation of the question that appears on the ballot says, recent changes in many states and at the federal level show that public support for adult-use recreational marijuana has changed significantly since the town council enacted a ban against retail marijuana shops. It is very difficult to measure the current opinion in the town of Bridgewater through social media or other methods. This method, allowed by law, will accurately inform the town council of current public opinion without changing any current laws. And the town election will be taking place at the Bridgewater Middle School, or as some people may know it as, the old BR High School, coming up on Saturday, April 24th. And if you missed any of the information that we gave you, we do have the website for you at the bottom of the screen. If you watched the last edition of the Bridgewater Review, we showed you the pandemic's effect on the Bridgewater community, and one of the impacts was on Bridgewater State's commencement ceremony, which was canceled in 2020. Now, unfortunately for the 2021 graduates, they won't be able to walk across the stage at Boyd and Quad. Instead, they, along with the 2020 graduates, will walk across a different stage.
I made a promise to our graduates that we would celebrate in person. This pandemic can delay us, but it won't stop us. We started looking for places, bigger places, where we could come together with our families and friends in the safest way possible. Could we do it here, on our own turf, the site of so many wonderful victories and homecomings? No, my friends, we're going bigger. Our graduates will be on this field, the same field where champions are made. Your friends and families will fill these seats to cheer you on as loudly as any Pats fan ever has. It will be worth the wait, so we can honor you the way you deserve to be honored.
President Clark released a statement on this huge announcement, which reads in part, quote, "We rejected the idea of having ceremonies here at BSU for an important reason. Physical campus constraints and strict compliance with commencement guidelines recently issued by the state would frankly not allow any family members to attend based on our planning models. That was not okay with us or with you. With nearly 5,000 2020 and 2021 graduates eligible to walk across the BSU commencement stage, and with thousands of family members eager to cheer them on, only one spectacular venue in Massachusetts would safely accommodate our large BSU family, Gillette Stadium. The state has authorized the stadium to safely host thousands of people appropriately distanced from one another in the stands, with hundreds of our students who will be safely seated on the field at Gillette. With 4 ceremonies planned over 3 days, we will be able to keep our graduates and their families safe while still being able to celebrate the triumphs of our students as they walk across the stage one at a time. We are grateful for our partnership of our friends at Gillette in helping us to organize what is sure to be 4 spectacular ceremonies for our 2 graduating classes who have endured such profound hardships over the past year," end quote. As you saw in the video, the ceremony will be taking place in July and at Gillette Stadium. Turning to sports now, and this past Saturday, 20 seniors played their final game at the Recreational, but it was the performance of one senior in particular that had everybody talking. Brian Berard has more.
Bridgewater Rainham solidified their spot in the Southeast Conference Championship game on Saturday with a 48-24 victory over the Dartmouth Indians. Senior running back Anthony Morrison continued to shine on the ground for the Trojans, rushing for 297 yards on 16 carries with 5 touchdowns. Through the 4 games this season, Morrison has 1,083 yards with 12 touchdowns. Even more impressive is that he's averaging more than a first down per carry with 12.3 yards every time he touches the ball. Morrison got the scoring started for the Trojans on their first play from scrimmage when he scampered for a 73-yard touchdown after almost being stopped for a loss in the backfield. In an interview with Greg Dudek of the Brockton Enterprise, Morrison said, "Coach always says play every play like it's your last. I didn't hear a whistle, so I kept driving my feet. I saw a hole, picked up my legs, and I just kept running. I saw an open hole, and we ended up scoring. It was a really cool first play." It was a back-and-forth game between the Trojans and Indians, trading blow for blow in the first half, but BR did end up pulling away in the second half, securing their spot in the Southeast Conference Championship game against the Boxers on Saturday afternoon at Marciano Stadium. That game can be seen live on BTV's YouTube page.
All right, thanks, Brian. Turning to your health today, and MLB Ballparks have opened up to fans once again, including Fenway Park. But as you get set to return to the old ball yard, there are some safety tips that fans do need to take into account. Mary Evers has more.
Baseball season has begun and many fans are eager to get back in the stands. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Joseph Cabaza says attending game in person should be relatively low risk, as long as you follow the COVID-19 protocol.
The games are in large, mostly outdoor venues, and that drastically decreases risk of transmission of any respiratory virus across the board.
Dr. Cabaza recommends checking ballpark restrictions before heading to a game, as they may change depending on local government guidelines. Most parks will have limited capacity this season, allowing fans to spread out and properly social distance. Some stadiums may require proof of vaccination or negative COVID-19 test. Dr. Cabaza recommends wearing a mask at the game. He reminds us masks are important to decrease transmission risk, especially in situations where there's cheering, which generates more respiratory droplets. He adds masks should be worn in the concourse and not removed unless you're eating or drinking at your seat.
As long as your mask is on while you're at the concourse and there is spacing between people in line, your risk of transmission will be quite low.
Dr. Graza says this year is probably not the best time to end up under a pile of fans scrambling for a home run ball. He recommends staying in your seat and away from people you don't know as much as possible. For Bridgewater Now, I'm Mary Evers.
Thanks, Mary. We want to end the show with the Bridgewater Police Department, who welcomed a new member to the force. Edo, the department's newest K-9 graduate, is a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd mix who is a little under 2 years old. Edo was purchased with funds through Molly's annual Vestadog fundraiser held last year. Molly and her mother Stacy support a police K-9 unit with funds to purchase bulletproof K-9 vests, essential equipment, training, and dogs for police departments. Edo and his handler, Officer Christopher Rondeau, graduated from the Basic K-9 Patrol Academy back on January 22nd, and the department already has Officer Stephen Kingsley and K-9 Poppy, who are assigned to the night shift for the BPD. Bridgewater Police Chief Chris Del Monte said, quote, "Our K-9 teams and their abilities are incredible resources for this department, and K-9 Edo has already been very effective in the 2 months he's been with us. I would like to thank Molly, her mother Stacy, and the Massachusetts Vestadog organization. We are very grateful for their selfless work on our behalf and for the support they have provided for several years to police department and K-9 units across the state." Good luck to Officer Rondeau and K-9 Edo, and congratulations to the Bridgewater Police Department on the newest K-9 graduate. Thanks for watching this update. I'm John Locke.